Good morning. My name is Don Miguel Ruiz Jr. It's an empty symbol whose definition is completely subject to my own agreement. My father gave me his name because he loved me so much, and my mom let him do it because she loved him so much. But it's just a name that I give power to because, much like this body, much like this mind, I'm here to give it life. Life. Master death by becoming alive. Today I'm going to share from the heart, so what I'm going to say is not polished, it's not, maybe not be even clean. It's from the heart. On Thursday we lost a very beautiful angel. He passed away at the age of 22, battling autism and muscular dystrophy. His name is Tyler. He is the son of my wife's best friend, Holly. Susan and Holly have been friends since kindergarten. And Tyler, his smile illuminated a room. Even though when he was in his wheelchair, he always smiled. I'm blessed that there are days like this where I'm able to address a congregation and share and express. Conversations in our life impact us. And the conversations I have in my heart right now that are going to share with you deal with this. 4 different people impacting me and helping. The first one is exactly with Holly herself. 2 years ago, she reached out to me and asked me, Miguel, is there a book that you can recommend that allows me to understand death and how to teach my daughters how to handle the coming loss of Tyler? Because we all knew it was coming. It's a bittersweet death because we know he's no longer suffering. He's no longer in pain. He's no longer constricted. He's no longer chained, not to his wheelchair, but to his body that brought so much pain. And I told her, Holly, there will be time for reading books after. Right now, I want you to think about that moment, and at the time far away in the imagination of that moment after he gives his last breath. Think about all the things you wish you could do with him. Think of all those things you wanted to share. Think about all those things you wanted to hear from him. Embrace him, hug him, love him, all those things. Think about it. And then realize that he's still alive. He's still alive to do it. That was 2 years ago. I told her, don't philosophize this at this moment. Don't look for those things. Embrace him. Feel his presence. Listen to his smile. Listen to him share his passions. And he was so happy when the Dallas Cowboys won the playoff game last month. He was really happy. He was a big Dallas Cowboys fan. And he lives in West Jordan, Utah. But he enjoyed watching the Cowboys because his stepdad enjoyed watching the Cowboys, and he loved his stepdad so much that he took him on as that team. On Wednesday, he began, earlier in the week, he stopped wanting to eat. He wanted to go to his father's house, and everyone was there. And the nurse came because he was already in hospice, and the nurse told them, he's dying. So everyone called everyone who could make it. And he died as blessed as those who are surrounded by everyone. Because after all my life, I'm 43 years old now, and I can tell you with complete certainty that it's a gift to pass away surrounded by everyone you love. Not everyone gets that opportunity. He stopped breathing on Thursday morning at 10:35 in the morning, local time. And Holly slept in his bed. And she's been sleeping there since. Yeah? Exactly. Those little sounds that you hear, that we engage, that from the people we love so much. All relationships end. By life, by choice. If we accept that it's going to end, why waste our time worrying about that moment? Enjoy the time when life gives us the opportunity to embrace, to heal, to engage. It's the thing that keeps us from neglecting someone, from taking someone for granted. Life always changes. Life, my beloved, my beautiful wife, Susan, at any given moment, she can change her yes into a no, and she won't be with me, especially if I do anything stupid. And I know that because she is a complete free soul. And I'm so grateful that she's saying yes to me. One day, she and I will part ways, either by choice or by life, or watching one of us give our last breath. But the beautiful thing about accepting our mortality is that instead of wasting our whole life fearing that moment, we enjoy the present with the people who are alive at this very moment. While there is life, everything is possible, including healing from the wounds that conditional love left in our hearts, healing from the wounds that divide us, healing from those things that makes us think that we're separate. Our loved ones are worth the effort to take the steps to heal, to let go of those things that don't let us enjoy each other's company. All you have to do about that is just think about that day after that last breath. Think of all those things you wish you could have told that beloved, and realize they're still alive, and do it. Especially with yourself. One day, you will give your last breath. Think of all the things you wish you could have done for you, the love of your life. Because for as long as you're alive, you are the constant in every relationship you are in. How do you want to love yourself? How do you want to engage yourself? How do you want to heal? How do you want to express? It's all up to you. And that's the beauty of it. And that leads me to another conversation that I had 5 years ago in Wimberley, Texas, driving down to Houston. A beautiful young lady was giving me a ride from Wimberley to Houston. She worked at the Center for Spiritual Living there. And in a long drive, we started talking, and she began to tell me a little bit of her story. She was living my worst nightmare. As the father of two, she was telling me the story of how her son had passed away a few months prior, and he was 8 years old. And this is the part that really impacted me. She looked at me and she said, "What kind of mother am I? What kind of mother am I that I am living my life? I'm beginning to heal. Who heals from the wound of the death of their own son? I tried to say words to try to console her, but I knew there was nothing I could say. As she began to berate herself for moving on and with life. And that's when I learned one of the biggest lessons of my life. We heal with our own permission. You see, the emotional body heals in the same way the physical body heals, with time. But it requires our permission to do so. For example, if you have a cut in your arm and the scab comes in, that scab is your body, your skin healing. It may not be pretty, but it's healing. If you begin to scratch it until it all comes out, and all of a sudden it starts bleeding again, and you start saying, see, I haven't healed. To me, that's the example of not giving yourself permission to heal. For whatever reason, our emotional body heals with time, with effort, with living, if we give ourselves permission to do so. Words that, when Holly comes up and asks me that, I'll share that story with her. Now is not the time, though. We all heal in our own timeline. Nobody heals in a schedule. We heal when we're ready. And we give ourselves time because we grieve, because we love. It hurts because we love. If we didn't love, it would not hurt at all. But because we love, it hurts. As Holly went to sleep, because they stayed up all night with Ty. When they took him away, she fell asleep in his bed, woke up in the middle of the night, realized that what had happened, and she began to scream, to cry, that only a mother who lost her son can give. That pain is because we love. That reminds me of another conversation I had in Guadalajara. I was at the International Book Fair just a few months ago. An elderly man come up to me and share with me that his son had also passed away, that he was missing him so much, that he wished he can feel him again. I looked into his eyes, and I asked him a question that another friend of mine, my dear friend, Ed Easton, actually Dr. Ed Durant, he's the great-grandson of Will Durant, a philosopher, historian. He asked me a question. Miguel, when did your life start? That was the question. And I remember just thinking, well, when I was young, I used to think that my life started at the moment when I came out of my mother's womb. And as I became educated and went to school, my answer changed to the moment I was conceived, the moment when that sperm and that ovum united to create me. Apparently, Ed was waiting for that answer, and he says, was there life in that sperm and in that ovum? And I said, yes. And all of a sudden, my imagination just kicked into gear as I had an epiphany. If that sperm and that ovum was dead, I would not be here. There was life in those two cells, which means my life did not start. Life, did not start at the moment of my conception. Life, was already there in my father and in my mother And my life didn't start at my mother and my father, as my imagination began to race down my grandparents, my great-grandparents, and the tree began to grow until it hits an apex where all of us in this room have a common ancestor, and it goes down all the way down to Adam and Eve. But then there's science, and science shares with us that with DNA, we are relatives to that tree, to the organisms out there. All of a sudden, the tree expands to other living beings until we hit a climax where we all have the constant, the common ancestor. It goes down, all the way down to either the moment where the hand of God creates or the Big Bang. Life started a long time ago. What was created at the moment of conception? A single point of perception, that is me. I was born into a body that has the limits of my perception to my nervous system, to my eyes and my ears, to all of the nerve senses around my body that allows me to perceive the warmth of this room, the sounds of every one of you, to see you. Life. And I told this to this gentleman, and I said to him, if you want to feel the presence of your son, all you have to do is embrace your wife. Hug her as she hugs you, and you feel the life force that animated his body, that animated him. All we have to do is to think of that living being, those moments where they were with us, those moments of, well, when we were both alive at the same time. They're no longer here to create new memories with us, but the memories we do have is of the times we were both alive at the same time, and we created those memories. And all we have to do to feel those presence is to completely immerse ourselves in those memories, and we can feel them in this present moment. Their scent. I can smell my grandpa. I can feel my grandmother. I can feel my cousin. And I remember the last conversation that my dad's girlfriend told me when she dropped me off at the airport yesterday morning. Because you see, her son, Gabe, passed away 3 years ago next week, and he was 23 years old. She'd gone through the grief of losing him, and she said to me, we all can use that wound to continue to hurt ourselves, but at that point, it's no longer about them, it's about us. If we continue to hurt ourselves in their memory, we're not honoring them in any way, shape, or form, because it's not about them. That pain's about us. She said to me that my son, Gabe, I don't have to worry about him anymore because I know he's okay. I know he's in a place where he's no longer suffering what humanity suffers. He is with God. He is with life. So the pain is just me hurting myself over and over, not giving me permission to heal. She said that to me, echoing what I've learned. And I share this with you. As I honor my grandma, as I honor my grandfather, as I honor my friends who passed away, because I'm at that age where I'm beginning to lose friends whom I went to school with. I won't use them to hurt me. In fact, I'm going to use them to feel love, to feel that even though they're no longer here with me, I am here. And when I feel them, I feel happy. As I think of my grandpa, as I think of my grandmother, and my abuelita, as I think of Ty and Gabe, I have happy memories with them. I can think of Gabe and playing football in a video game and not letting him beat me. But he did so anyways. And watching Ty be so happy. I don't have my phone, I would show a video of him. We are blessed to have the people in our life. We are blessed to be alive. And while there is life, everything is possible, including healing the wounds that brings us pain. There's still time to heal. There's still time to forgive. Forgive if you're ready. If you're not ready, that's honoring yourself. I'm not ready. But when you are, the biggest step is to forgive. I'm reminded of something Eleanor Roosevelt said once. It's actually my favorite quote. No one can make me feel inferior without my consent. I love that. It's my favorite expression. It gives sense to not taking things personal. And what do I have to forgive myself for? Forgiving myself for ever saying yes to conditional love. Forgiving myself for ever believing that I'm inferior to anyone. Forgiving myself for using the people I lost to hurt myself over and over again. Forgiving myself for not giving myself permission to heal. It hurts because we love. And that's a blessing. It is the thing that allows us to have compassion. To remember that when we're in that pain, in that depression, that every direction feels numb. And when we're out of it and we see our beloved, our friend, that compassion allows us not to rescue them, but to say, I know you can do it yourself, but here's my hand if you need my help. Compassion. Empathy. Is what allows us to come together as a community and help each other, regardless of race or color or religion or creed or belief or how we vote. We are brothers and sisters. The only thing that separates us is a point of view. But we are one. For we all have a common ancestor. We all are brothers and sisters. And like my grandmother's favorite song goes, let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our Father, brothers all are we. Let me walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every breath that I take, let this be my solemn vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Or as Michael Jackson would say, I'm starting with the man in the middle. I'm asking him to change his ways. And no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make the change. Na 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 na. Ty, I love you. Gabe, I love you. Life, thank you.